Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. Today's beverage is a nice and refreshing glass of Tropical Crush, no added sugar, which mainly consists of, as far as I can tell anyway, pineapple, grapefruit and lemon juice, but it is still very, very nice indeed. Tasty. So this is the latest rock update and the accompanying paid-for DLC Island Bound, which, as you might imagine from the title, is all about building prisons on an island. So either a fully sectioned off island from the mainland where you have to bring in prisoners via boats, ferries and helicopters, or you can have an island that is mainly sort of shoreline all the way around but then still connected to the main road network. Something that we have been able to experience in the past via mods, but this is the first release where we can now build basically our version of Alcatraz, or a prison island, which I always thought was a bit of an omission for a game that is obviously set around prisons, because, well, it's one of the things that springs to mind very quickly when I think of that sort of thing. And also, to be fair, I believe this game came about when the main developer was on holiday and went to Alcatraz prison, so you would have thought we would have seen it by now, but hey ho, here it is. So what I want to do in this video is have a quick look at the additions and changes that come with the rock update and, as I said, the paid for DLC Island Bound, just as a bit of information for yourself, and also serves as a primer for the sort of things that we may be able to do in future series. So let's go over first to the rock update. You can see it's quite a short list. This is not going to be probably a long video, and certainly not an exhaustive list of everything that you will be able to see in the game, but I think it's fairly representative of what you'll be able to experience. Anyway, we can see the rock update. The free rock update accompanies the Island Bound expansion alongside other improvements, and the main two takeaways here are water tiles and the dynamic prisoner reputations. So water tiles. Water can be added to land and land to water to shape your own islands, shorelines, moats and more. So in the past, when you had water on your prison, so if you want to create your prison and you said, I want some water here, so generate lakes like that, it would put that is the warning experimental. Still? I very much doubt it. Anyway, you put lakes on there, and it's basically something that you had to work around. Luckily, prisoners couldn't cross it, but I assume now that they can swim, but I actually don't know. But yeah, the lakes are on there, so you have to just work around them. They look pretty good, but there's nothing else you could really do with them. Now, obviously in the previous updates we've seen bridges being added, so you can traverse them, but this one expands it, so now you can simply place land on water, water on land, and basically create whatever you need to create, which does immediately add some extra options for building, so that should be a good one to mess around with. If we go back, and we can see that we now also have dynamic prisoner reputations. So when activated, this new option allows prisoners to gain and lose reputation characteristics based on their activities inside your prison. So reps such as strong, tough or skilled fighter, for example, can be gained via the time in yard or the gym, or lost in solitary confinement. Many prisoner reps can also be lost or gained in various different experiences. Now this has been in the game sort of. If we go over to create new prison and down to mutators, and right down to the bottom here we have a one called extra reputations, and one of those reputations was, I believe, a teacher type thing where they can pass on their own traits, and I found that was a bit of a snowball affair. Once it started to go really bad, everybody had all the really difficult traits to deal with, and yeah, so this is more of a sort of same sort of idea, but a different execution, where we have now not just behaviours now being altered in the game by how you look after them and the sort of thing they have access to, but also their traits will change. So if they're not fighting, they may lose certain things like skilled fighter, or if they do a lot of fighting and that sort of thing and kick off all the time, then they may gain other ones. And obviously it's based on the type of areas they have access to, their experiences, so it's going to be a fairly dynamic system. It should be a decent thing to check out. But that's the two main takeaways from the free rock update. But now obviously we also have the Island Bound DLC, so let's have a quick look at that. So latest expansion Prison Architect. With Island Bound, players have the freedom and ability to create their own isolated island prisons, with deliveries, prisoners and other service transported in by sea air. Obviously we'll check out a new prison in a moment and check that out. Island Bound introduces additional plot options to start your prison, remove connections to the mainland. You can even play without the road, which, yes, is possible. Boats, helicopters, docks and helipads are introduced, which can be linked to your delivery and export areas. That's been overhauled as well, the way stuff is brought in, and again I'll show you that in a bit. And you can choose to ship inmates separately to one side of your prison or the island and have deliveries brought in air elsewhere. With more ports entry for contraband, new checkpoint stations can also be built for guards to pat down prisoners and visitors, and crate scanners to discover contraband stashed inside deliveries. So again, a fairly decent addition there that you can use on pretty much any prison. Also comes with new pre-made game maps inspired by Alcatraz, new objects, flooring, ferries, etc. So let's go over to create new prison, and the main one that we want to put on is we've got Connected Island and we've got Island. We'll check out the Connected Island first because that is the one that is sort of similar to perhaps mods that we've seen in previous games. Let's go up to medium and then we'll play on that one, and we can see straight away we have an island-ish map. Now we've got the main road coming along here, which is separated by these concrete walls, and we have deliveries and garbage already sectioned in there, and then obviously water that goes all the way around the outside, and then finally one entrance in here. So that is the only way we can really get in here, and you may notice that these are actually not connected, which normally in the past would be a problem. You would never be able to gain access to this. Now recently we've had the bridges, so the bridges would be able to span across there, so that would be fine. But now if we go over to flooring, we can simply go to say dirt, and we can place dirt all the way across there, and it will make it so you can walk from one side to the other. The similar is for, where is it? It'll be in objects here. We've also now got stepping stones. So we've got stepping stones, pallet, stepping stones, lily pads, stepping stones, ice. So you could say build like stepping stones across here. You can see it's not able to be built on the land there, but we can go across there, and you now have stepping stones from one side to there. So similar to bridges, but basically just cheaper. We can also see we've got things like the life rings, the buoys or buoys, deck chairs, things like that. So a couple of additions. You may notice we also have a helipad, 5,000 for generic units of currency for that. Essential for allowing helicopters to fly into your prison, transport new prisoners, deliver supplies, call upon special air-based emergency crews. So I'm going to place that one there because we can. We also have a ferry dock and a boat dock and a checkpoint. So the ferry dock is placed on an area like so, and it has a sort of accompanying other side that it connects to. Now it depends. It's a bit dodgy to actually place this because the other side has to be fairly flat as well. And basically, if I don't think on this island we actually have the... Oh, yeah, we go. So if we place it somewhere like there, for example, you can see it has an area where it'll basically travel from one side to the other. It is a ferry. It'll go from one dock to the other. So it basically allows prisoners or anyone to go back and forward, but it's not to bring things in. To bring things in, you would use the boat dock. So we will place it, say, like there. I can place that there, and we'll see what that is like. And we'll be able to, as I said, bring stuff in that way. We also have a checkpoint station for searching prisoners and visitors that pass through. Prisoners can only pass through the checkpoint in one direction, must be manned by a guard. So there is our checkpoint station. I've not actually used this, so I don't know where you would actually place it. I assume inside. It says indoor only, so we'd have to place it inside, yeah. And then we would be able to, like say, check out people that go through there and just sort of pat them down, that sort of thing. We've also got a fountain, so that's cool, I guess, but this goes on water. Can be built on water. What it means is has to be built on water. We also have, if we go over to, well, we've checked out the flooring. We've also got cliff edge here as well. So build cliff walls to create elevated sections and impassable areas around your prison or island. Now I've heard a lot of people say, oh yes, it would be really nice if we had multiple levels in the prison. I've never really been in that camp. I don't really see what a third dimension would really add to it, but this is sort of doing that here because we can rotate it around and we can essentially create like a cliff edge. So we could say go there, and then I want to rotate it so it is there's a lot of options here. So this is just rotating the tile as you may expect along to there, and then maybe down there, and then that one goes there, and then on there, and then we have to get the sides in. So hang on, what that one, no, that one, that one. Anyway, you get the idea. You can place cliff edges and make a sort of a bit that they cannot cross. Again, some traits may allow the prisoners to traverse that, but that's something we'll have to experience later on. Landscaping, we also now have mud, grass, water large, water shallow. So this is all, basically, it's similar to what we've seen here, but it just pares it down to just landscaping. So we've got things like the water, so you can just say, right, well, I want like a little bit of water there, a square bit of water there. You might notice as well that the workers happily just sort of float across the water while they're trying to build this, and they're not actually building it in any particular order. Oh, there we go, we now have our dock there as well. So I will be able to show you that, oh no, I won't, because I don't have the logistics menu. Okay, not a big problem. Let's go over to quick build, and we will search for an office, and we'll place an office in here. We'll place 2 of them there, because why not? We'll put up to max speed, and then we'll get that researched after we get naturally a warden. In terms of money, I'm actually sort of running out of this one, so let me just pick up a couple of grants there, just so we can, as I said, have enough money to finish the rest of this off. Oh, there's the water that I've placed there, and you can see it takes a little while, but then finally we get the water there, so now they are actually going... Did they decide just to go around it? Yes, they did. And now we have, obviously, the little bit of water there, so we've changed that and terraformed that, landscaped it, should we say. And, oh, we can see actually a helicopter. There we go. We now have a supply helicopter, which looks a bit militarized for for a supply helicopter, but there you are. We have our stepping stones across here, and obviously this bit across there as well, so that is all fine. Anyway, these are getting built. It'll take a little bit of time to sort that out, because they are still cracking on to build all of that. And there is our supply helicopter, which looks to have a couple of boxes there. It takes off and then flies off. That's pretty cool. I like that. We'll have a probably closer look at that in a moment if it lands again. Oh, there's that built, and now the one's going to go there. Let's just go to, pause a second, over to bureaucracy. I want to research, ooh, what do I need? I need logistics, not micromanagement. You know, it's food logistics. I think that's fine. We'll also get security to get the other stuff as well. So there is our helicopter there. We can zoom in and we see that comes open, and I assume, oh, it says supply helicopter, 1 chair, 1 office desk, and 1 filing cabinet. We also have this down here, which it says use the logistics transport menu to allow you to control the purpose of this boat. Now it looks like they are using the most efficient method to bring stuff in, it seems, but we'll have to see. What else can we see? Well, we've got see, do you get it because of like water and that? I'm so long. So we've got the walls there. I don't think that's really changed much. I don't think there's any additions there. Flooring we've already checked out. Rooms, I don't think there's any addition in that regard. In terms of here, we've already checked out the stepping stones, the checkpoints we haven't, but I will place a checkpoint, and I'll tell you, I'll go to quick build, and shall we have like a fairly big cell, a shower? We won't be able to put one there. Utility room, no. Common room. Let's place one there. And this will also give us the option to see where stuff comes in. So we've got the helicopter coming in with only 2 items on there. Nothing coming on the boat. And there's a grant done as far as I can tell, which is actually being security for some strange reason. But I can get that guy there. I did pick up the micromanagement first, but anyway, we'll go for deployment, intelligence, patrols, that sort of thing. But the main one we're trying to get access to, as I said, is the logistics one here. Quick build, it says river and outdoor lake has been added to a quick build, so let's go for an outdoor lake in here. We might as well see what that is like. Emergencies, we now have air firefighters, elite ops team, and the air paramedics, and you can see the difference in price. It is more than 10 times for some of them. So it is, for the fire engine, it is for 1 fire engine and 4 firemen, it is 100 generic currency for that, but the air firefighters, it's 2,000 for the same amount. Riot police goes from 100 to 3,000 for the elite ops teams. The paramedics go from 100 to the 1,000, so very expensive indeed. Anyway, logistics is now opened, and we'll be able to see over on deliveries where stuff is being delivered to and from. So this is our delivery here. So this is a road delivery, helipad delivery, and finally the boat dock, which if we see there, now we actually have a boat. So this is being delivered here because of its proximity to this area, which is good. Over back to logistics again, and we can see where stuff come and goes from. So I can say, right, I don't want that connected to anything, so nothing now uses that. But if I want to, I can say, look, actually, let's connect up the deliveries, but not the garbage, because we don't want the garbage going to the helipad. So you can remove those and chop and change there. But what's a really good one is over to transport. You can see we now have several options here. 4 categories. We've got inbound deliveries, inbound prisoners, inbound civilians, and inbound items. And you can turn these on and off in any combination you want. So that is really, really good. So, for example, we could say this helicopter here, we only bring in the inbound civilians. That's the only thing the helicopter is for. For, say, this thing, we only bring in the, say, outbound items, so we can, we'll say we'll bring in the deliveries, and we'll also export there as well, but we only want to export, say, the license plates, whereas the road, this is where we get our prisoners, and that's it. So that has now made a completely different logistical nightmare now, basically, because we have different things coming in different areas in different times, and obviously at different locations, which gives us a lot of options. So we could have a full sectioned off area like this helicopter, for example, because it just, you know, the helicopter comes along and lands in the middle. We can now have, instead of having, say, well, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I've loaded up another prison from quite a while ago now, and we can see that it is a fairly large facility. We have a main entrance on the right-hand side here with a perimeter wall with barbed wire around there. We've got, obviously, entrance and yard and canteen. It's all around this very, very big lake, which obviously now we could chop and change. We could easily add a boat in here, so I could put a boat on this side to bring in prisoners this way or whatever. But the main takeaway is, if we see, was this, oh, this is high risk supermax, and I believe, yes, death row, and a workshop over there for some strange reason. Anyway, yes, we previously, in pretty much all builds, we always used to put the visitation right near the front, because obviously visitors would come down and then go straight to there. And that's just because it's easier doing it that way than having a lot of prisoners having to either go one side or the other, or mainly visitors going from like the entranceway through the prison to, say, a visitation that could be right at the back here, because having something like that was very problematic. It was a security risk, it took a while to get there, that sort of thing. But now if we wanted to, we can simply go to objects, helipad, and we could just have a, say, a helipad around here, and then that's just a mainly, and that's an area just solely for, say, visitors that connects directly to a visitation. And you could just have something like that. Now, this is assuming they can't hijack the boat or or the helicopter, which I assume, perhaps wrongly, that they can't. But anyway, that's it is what it is, and it's there. We've also got now, finally, a scanner monitor. So if we go over to utilities, we can go down and get a scanner machine. And I will place a scanner machine in here, and obviously a monitor in that corner there. Now, I will prioritize that and max speed out while they go and do that. And this allows us to scan things when they come in. So it looks like they're just about to build it. We've got the machine built, and someone is now staffing that. And now we've got our scanner machine sorted as well. It is connected to the electrical supply, which is lucky. And let's go over to show wires, and then we want to actually connect, rather, there to there. So that is now connected up. So we now have a scanner module, and you can see that stuff is being passed through the scanner module. And apparently he's just picked up a bit of bacon. Why are they, hang on. That's a blatantly a pack of bacon, right? Ingredients times 16. But I'm fairly confident I saw a guard picking up the bits of bacon and clothing them with it. That's a new one. But we have our scanner machine now, so if we check out this, that's reception is linked to all these. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, but basically, now that all that's in, we now can scan all of these stuff that comes in. So you can have separate areas that have scanner machines, like later on in the facility and whatnot. It's similar to metal detectors, but obviously it's going to scan that and find non-metal objects as well. So a nice little addition. It is, however, expensive at $1,000 when the monitor also costs $1,000. So $2,000 in total, plus the power requirement, and it has to be staffed. So it's one person that's going to be constantly staffing this thing. And I'm just seeing if they're going to scan any more. It doesn't look like they are. There might be some more options to set that up with. Hang on, let's just double check. Machine for delivery areas and storage rooms. Scan wooden crates for contraband. Must be wired to a scanner monitor. Guard spot contraband. Guard ability spot contraband will depend their tiredness. So let's actually move it over to there. So I'm just double clicking and then coming to there. And then the chief is calling. Something to do with teachers. Don't really care. Connect that up to there like so. And we can see now that yes, all of these wooden crates are being scanned, so it does depend on where it is situated. I put it in the visitation here. Is that a legitimate Could be. Anyway, yeah, that is being now scanned in there. So I put it in the visitation and it was working okay for those little bits. But yeah, you put it in storage and you're going to get a lot more stuff being scanned. So overall, pretty good. Let's just go over to, I don't know, let's go to our objects, go down to, say, the boat dock, and I'm going to place a boat dock. Where would it be? We'll place a boat dock there, like so, and max speed that out. Also want to walls and doors, demolish walls, get rid of that. They managed to, I believe they managed to remove, they managed to, oh, hang on, are they trying to escape? I think they were trying to escape there. So, does it mean they can escape through there? This is something we've not seen, because previously they couldn't escape. So it looks like they're going there. Are they trying to swim across? I'm very tempted to... I want to see what happens. Tell you what, let's start removing things. The reason I put this in here, getting sidetracked, is because I could then say, well actually, there's my deliveries, no problem. But we could say, actually, from this area, this is where we get our civilians, like that. And we'll turn civilians off on that one. So only civilians come in on the boat. Just want to see if that actually works. And also, there's definitely a tunnel there. There's definitely a tunnel there. Right, let's go over to demolish walls, demolish that, demolish that, demolish the section there. Just give them more options to try and escape. Because I want to see what happens if someone gets to the edge there. Strange that they're starting their attempt over here. Why don't they just like nonchalantly walk past and then like splash and just start swimming? One death. Lots of fighting down there. And no one escaping. Demolish walls. Let's demolish that. Demolish the whole thing. If that doesn't get them escaping, I don't know what will. It's a nice little place to have your lunch. On the canteen, then you've got all this area here. Looks like they don't want to escape. I think it's something that they just don't want to use. Anyway, we now have our boat dock, as I said, so that's in. So all of our visitors should come that way, and there's loads more tunnels. The amount of tunnels on this facility is insane. Just loading it, we've got 1, 2 at least, at minimum. The fact that they're using it as well is fairly cool. It's also graded. Got some graded cells here. Nice open areas, lots of guard towers looking down here. Outside showers. One of the more interesting prisons that we made, this one. Deliberately made not symmetrical, but you can certainly tell the first section that we made, because this is where the wall goes down here. So, yeah, there you are. So we've moved all the walls. It's now light so we can actually see stuff. Let's see if anyone tries to escape, or have the people that want to escape already done so. Or I say want to escape, have they... the ones that can escape, because as I said, maybe there are only certain people that can try and escape. There's some extremely volatile, deadly, stoical. I'm seeing there's any other extra traits. It doesn't look to be any. It doesn't seem there's any extra traits. Oh, and there we go. There's our boat. So the boat is just leaving. That's the visitor boat. Oh, and does it change colour? I think it might. So that's our visitor boat, and we've had our visitors come in that way, which is obviously not like a really good thing for this prison, but it does give you more options, certainly. And that's saying it's not behind at least one. Yeah, it's not secure because we got these open areas. Apparently, it's not secure. Here's our boat, and we'll see roughly how many people come off that. And oh, there's actually quite a number. Does it actually tell me? No, it doesn't tell me. I wonder if there's I'm guessing there'll be a max number, but it's not telling me. Oh, and there's even more. So them boats there, they're carrying a lot of people. Yeah, loads of them. So the capacity for the boat is really, really good. So even having just a little bit of a lake thing here is the way forward. I think is the, yeah, like I say, the way forward. Anyway, it doesn't look like... Oh, what's this person got? It's Fearless and Stokel. They were trying to escape from here. So either they can swim or they were just, I don't know, trying to get round. But it doesn't look like there is a way. But I think we will leave it there for now. I think that's most of the additions and changes. Like I say, the main takeaway is not just the island stuff, but also just the new logistical options. Like having this here is in and of itself really, really good. The only thing I haven't shown you is in extras and in the pre-made prisons, we now have Alcatraz, Island Bound, and The Rock, which is a pre-built one there. So let's load up the Rock one, and we can see it is Alcatraz represented here. We do, for some strange reason, have a connection to the road. I would have thought it would have been totally separate, but alas, no. And if we zoom in, we can see that we have all of these type of prisoners in here. Ratio 72 guards to 156 prisoners. That's about there once we fill the rest of them in. I think the ratio was 1 guard to 3 prisoners. And we do actually have Frank Morris, which is one of the people that potentially escaped from Alcatraz. Certainly got off the island, it's believed, but I don't know whether they survived the crossing. I don't think he was ever found, along with 2 brothers. I think I can't remember the name of them now, but I think there's Frank Morrison. You see there's a dodgy brick wall there because, you know, they went through the vent and blah blah blah. Anyway, yeah, that is the Alcatraz Island. Either way, I hope you have enjoyed this little look at the Island Bound DLC and obviously the Rock update. A lot of options for potential series, so not just being on islands, but also with the new logistical ways, also with the ability to place water and things like that. We can now separate things off, make moats and all of that sort of thing. Cliff edges potentially also will change things up. So a lot of new and interesting stuff here. So hopefully we can get a couple of decent builds out of it. Obviously, the scanners and the checkpoints. Yeah, all fairly cool. Either way, I hope you have found this interesting and indeed entertaining. Next episode will be, well, for this anyway, the next episode will be building like an island prison or that sort of thing. If you have any ideas for designs or anything you would like to see, then by all means let me know. At the time of recording, the previous series is still running and that will not be finishing, so please bear that in mind. We're not going to be dumping that one to come on to this stuff. We're still finishing the previous one, which yeah, is it the sneezer? No, this is the massive bucket update and cleaver transfer. Yeah, so that is the one we're still working on. Either way, comments in the comments. Thanks very much for watching. Take care and generic partings.